Hello everybody out there in YouTube world. We hope things are alright for you in that world of ours. You know. Right. Thank you for the response on our previous videos. Thank you. It's been wow. Quite amazing. To be honest with you, we are up on the viewings and the channel, how it's going, and got more subscribers, and thank you for our most recent subscribers. We appreciate it. Thank you. It means a lot. Right, now this video is going to be a let's talk one, and we're going to be talking about stalking, because I personally know what it's like to be stalked. Boy, I never thought. Well, you can't say that, because you hear people say on these documentaries when horrendous things happen, and they always say, well, nothing like that never happened, you know. We don't expect things to happen like that. But listen, you can't have that attitude to life, because anything bad can happen at any given time, no matter where you live in the world.
Very true.
So please, people, let's lose that attitude of saying, oh, nothing like that never happens here. Or we never think like that. That is going to happen. Please don't have that narrow-minded approach to life, because I personally know anything can happen at any given time, no matter where you are, whether you're at home, at work, or just going out for a walk, or even going to the city centres when it's busy, and things can happen when it's busy. So yeah, this video is about stalking. Where should we start? Shall I start with myself? Yeah, right. Wow, my first ever experience with stalking. I've had how many types of stalking? Because you got several types. You've got the physical, and you've got the technical type of stalking, which will involve phones, social media things. That's one of the worst of all. But yeah, mine was because I've had both physical and social media stalking. And for those of you again who are new to the channel, who don't know, that I had someone try to murder me and threatened to murder my entire family as well. And this happened in 2011. And I was going to work, because I worked as a security officer in the retail division, and I spent most of my career in security. So I spent over 30 odd years in the industry. And yeah, the weirdest thing, I had a phone call the night before that incident happened. I was meant to have had a day off, but my work colleague had phoned in sick on the night before, so then I had a call from my area manager and said, yeah, you got anything planned, because we can't get no cover, because your cover officer has fallen ill. So I said, yeah, okay then, no problem. And he said the shift was normal from 8 till 8. I said, yeah, 8 till 8, no problem. So yeah, I get to work at about 8 o'clock-ish. And I start doing my regular checks, as I would do, you know, make sure that the outside of the property is had no problems. If there's been any discrepancies or damaging or any kind of disfiguration or whatever's going on with the property, then I'll have to report it, blah, blah, blah. But then none happened. Then I'd go inside the store and do my checks around various aisles. The shoplifters tend to go for beers, wines and spirits, the top one. Then you got the toiletries, and you got meat and fish and so on and so forth. And I'd never have my radio, because in 2009, the store manager at the time, he took my radio off me, which he shouldn't have done. He wanted it for one of his managers in their departments within the premises. And even the staff were saying, what's happened to my radio? I said, your manager's taken off me, which they even said he shouldn't have, he had no rights to it. I said, well, he's a law above himself. So he decided to take my radio, which made me a vulnerable person. And I even said to him, what if something ever happens? You know, I need that radio to go for backup and support. And that's what the whole point of the radio is for. But he had a bit of an attitude anyway, which I wasn't too keen about. So anyway, yeah, it was about, I was standing by the Beers, Wines and Spirits aisle where I was working. And the car park attendant called me to the front of the premises. And he said that there's a beggar outside causing problems, harassing the customers for money. You know, he was begging and he was doing it quite aggressively and assertively. So I told the front desk and I said to the girls on there, I'm going to have to go out to deal with this beggar. Can you please inform them in personnel and also the management that I'm outside dealing with the beggar? Okay? And just in case if anything happens. And they said, where's your radio still? I said, they won't let me have my radio back. So anyway, I thought, well, I've got to deal with this. So I did it in the professional way. I saw the person causing botheration with the customers because they was really upset by it. So I asked him politely to leave the car park, because if you don't, the police will be called. But he was very aggressive towards me. I said, there's no need for that. Come on, you know, things are not easy enough, but you can't do this around here because you're on private property, which it was where I was working. So he left. Then I turned around and so I just made my way back towards the premises where I was working. And I noticed this very tall white chap running towards the front of the building. And he was running at speed. And it looked like he was looking towards my direction. I was thinking, what's this guy going? And I could see he was carrying something, but I couldn't clearly see what it was until when he got close to me. And he come right up to me, and I was thinking, what's going on? I said, what's your problem? And blah, blah, blah. And he knew my name. He said, Andrew Osborne. I said, I've come to kill you, basically. I said, whoa, what, for what reason? He said he's come to kill my brothers and sisters, and he named every one of them. And I said, why? What have he done to you? And he basically said he wasn't bothered by that at all. He said he just wanted to kill us all. And then I noticed, to my horror, he had a hockey stick with a 6-inch blade we didn't modify to it, so it looked like a scythe. Then he had a builder's utility belt, and there was 5 big kitchen knives in there. I was thinking, I was thinking in my mind, is this for real? I thought it was some kind of a sick joke. You know, I thought the weapons weren't real, but then I looked clearly again, but they were real weapons that he had there. And he had this shield, excuse me, excuse me, thank you. And he had this homemade shield. It was metal, and it was quite a big shield, and he was over 6 feet tall, so he was a bigger guy than me. And he was really frothing at the mouth, and then he started to go for it with the hockey stick and the blade. So I moved out of the way, and I saw an empty car, and I used that as a shield. And then where I was mainly working, there was like other premises, other retail outlet premises, and I reckon, you know, I befriended some of the staff who worked in these outlets who had nothing to do with the main place where I was working. And I was signaling to call the police, and then I noticed they was on the phone straight away. And I was thinking, how am I going to get this? What have I got to do to get this sorted? Because I can't be left out in the open. I've got no help and support. So I have to take that risk and go into a place where I can get help and support from others, because I've got nothing at my disposal at all, nothing. So I was unarmed, and he had all these weapons of terror, basically. And I thought, well, I can't go and fight him because he's got a shield, he's got all these knives in there, so I can't go in and do any close quarter stuff. What have I got to do? I thought, right, I'll run to confuse him. You know, the fight and flight syndrome thing kicked in, and I ran into the store to get help and support. I know it was a bit of a risk, but I had no alternative. I couldn't stand and fight with him. I don't care how tough anyone is who try and take someone who's crazy and he's got all these weapons on them, who's come prepared. You know, you got to use your intelligence and smarts, and that's what I had to do. So he chased me into the store, raised the alarm, and I could hear things falling out of his builder's utility belt. So I could hear the knives falling out and hitting the floor as I was running away from him. So I saw the manager. I said, call the police straight away. You need to call the police. It's a, call the police basically just on the phone now. And at the pharmacy, I could see some of the staff on the phone, so I presume they were probably calling the police as well. So then I ran into this corridor. There was a door there, so I ran through, and I was ready. And then I saw him run past, and I was right, see what's going on. And then I saw the manager into me, and there was another person. I didn't know who he was at the time. It looked like he was a member of the public. So I ran out then. Next thing you know, he was on the floor, so they must have got him on the floor. And they were struggling inside. Then I ran in, and I launched an attack on him. And here's my elbow, this one, I remember this clearly well. And I pinned him. Helped pin him down, and my elbow was in his throat. And it seemed like forever. You know when they say when your life flashes in front of you? That's what actually happened. Everything had slowed down. It was a weird... It was like I had an out-of-body experience, and I really did. That's
like slow motion.
Yeah, it was, man. And management got injured slightly of his own fault because I told him not to intervene with this at all. Leave this. I was going to try and resolve this some way. Whatever I was going to try and do. So he got a slight injury to himself. He was quickly taken away, and then I really had to overpower my assailants. I mean, literally overpower. Then another member of staff come in. So this guy wasn't going nowhere. No one else, thankfully, got injured. No one, just the manager. So we kept him pinned, and then within 10 minutes or so, it seemed like forever. The police could hear the sirens, and the police came in. There was about at least 6 of them, and they was all shocked to see what had transpired. They were probably thinking something else had probably happened. They weren't expecting this for us to keep him pinned to the floor. They weren't expecting that. They was expecting something else.
Well, it sounds like it's a good job you did.
Yeah, well, I found out afterwards what they were expecting. But anyway, and all the weapons had gone by that time. And when the police recognised me and said, Andrew, it's all right now, we can take it over from here. And well done. So whatever it is that's happened here, you've got him. And I come off him. I was the last person to come off. And the police took him, arrested him, and then I make sure that the police were going to get him into the car because I knew this guy was a strong person. And he was enraged, so we knew there was some kind of psychosis going on with this guy at the time. And they got him into the car, and and then a couple of police officers stayed behind and gave a brief statement. And then moments later, I had 2 CID come, and I recognised one of them. And he had a big smile on his face, and so did his colleague. I said, what's with the big smile? I said, we need to speak in private. I said, really? Oh, okay. So they took me upstairs to the manager's office. The manager had been taken away himself to get his injury seen to. And then the deputy manager was in there, who I wasn't too keen on, but me personally, he shouldn't have been in there because this was a private thing that had gone on. But anyway, he stayed in there, being nosy and eavesdropping as usual, as he was. And the police said to me, Andrew, we were so happy that you were alive. I said, why? He says, well, this guy, you knew your name. I said, yeah, he did, and my family. I thought that was a bit odd. What was going on? You want to know the whole story? He says, yeah, it's going to shock you. I says, okay, come on, put the cards on the table. He said, he'd been wanting to kill you and your family for so many years. And I was just, when I heard this, I was thinking, what? Why? Apparently it was a grudge thing. I says, nah, there's got to be more to it than that. I was telling them, there's got to be more to it. It can't be just a grudge thing. He said that he went to the school, and I said, I want to know his name, and he told me his name. Because I can't mention his name because of the Data Protection Acts. I can't mention his name to you on the channel. So, told me his name. I thought, I recognise that name very well. And apparently he lived round by us, where we lived down Dovecoats for many years. And I do remember all the racial related things over the years. So I knew this was a racist hatred attack. I knew that for a fact because I knew my assailant was a racist, part of an organisation in this country.
So he wasn't just stalking you, was he? He was stalking all of
He
you.
was stalking all of my brothers and sisters,
Yeah,
all of us. So yeah, I was horrified. He said he'd been planning this for so many years. I said, what? I said, how comes you know? They said, we found a book in his bedroom with all the dates and times of when he'd been stalking us. This guy had been stalking us on a weekly basis, and he'd been getting himself ready because he knew my family can fight me in particular in what I do. He was prepping himself, he was going out for runs, he was hitting the weights in the gym, he even tried to learn some martial arts as well apparently. He was learning jiu-jitsu from what I can remember. So he said he really wanted to wipe the Osborne family out completely. Wipe us out, literally, and that's no joke. I wouldn't lie about things like this, you know. He wanted to wipe us out cleanly. So yeah, he'd been stalking us for the best part, I reckon, nearly 30 years or even more, with all the evidence they found in his bedroom. His book was full. He had the list with all our names in, from Stuart to me, to my sisters and to the youngest. Even some of the nieces and nephews' names was on there. He wanted to annihilate the entire family. It was just unbelievable to hear this. Whoa, just couldn't believe it. You know, when you... My attitude again, it was one of those things to say, well, things can happen, and that's why the way I've been brought up like that, because I've grown up through racism on both sides. My mind was already clued up for dealing with racism as a whole, and that's what this attack was about. A racial hatred attack. So he'd been stalking us all these times. I even said he'd been trying to work out my work patterns, but I said I had irregular days off. I never had the same day off. Never had the same day off from work, and that's how I worked it that way. Because of working in security, you have to. I mean, what if you're dealing with someone, a criminal, right, and they want to know about what shift patterns you work? That's why in security you had to have rotate your days off, and you had to choose which days you wanted off throughout your working shift patterns. So yeah, this man had been stalking me and my family for all those years. And then I found out he was a paranoid schizophrenic, and he hadn't been taking his medication deliberately. So he really wanted to get in that state of mind to go all out. Because I know paranoid schizophrenic people are very, very strong. Very, very strong people. But yeah, you hear all these other stories about stalking and stuff like that, and you think, wow. And you never ever say it never can happen to you, because it can. It can happen to me. It can happen to anyone. To anyone.
I think especially this day and age, because we've got
media.
so many mental health problems.
Yeah, it's
that are not being addressed, and there's such a long waiting process.
yeah,
So,
there is, Max. There really is.
And you just don't know. You just, when people come up to you, it's horrible, isn't it, to have that sort of thinking head, oh, what do they want?
Well, look at that time.
You have to. You really have to.
Yeah, when we were walking up to Pigeon Park,
Yeah.
that tall chap, he was of Asian culture or something like that, very tall, but we could clearly see that he wasn't right in his head.
It was mental health.
And he zoned in on the pair of us. So me and Max, you know what we did? We looked back at him directly. And then he decided to walk in the other direction when he's seen us doing this. So he was trying to catch us unawares, you know.
I mean, you've got so many drug problems on the streets.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, and I think, don't quote me, but I think they got rid of monkey dust. You know, a few years ago. But I do believe it's coming back in other cities.
Yeah.
So I assume it's coming back in Birmingham.
Yep. But again, you know, with this monkey dust thing, are they telling us everything that it's gone? Because it's probably still going on around, because we don't know about it.
But I just think, looking around at people who are on them, that they just take anything anyway.
Yeah,
They'd have
they do.
anything.
Have anything.
They drink mess if you give it them.
We've seen even better than this on Billy Moore's videos. There was a female on there. She could tell she was homeless, but you know the gas lighter fluid. She was sucking it in, and every time he'd seen
It's
her,
an addiction.
very various videos, she was there with a big bottle of gas. You know, the lighter fuel gas thing. She was just sucking it as if it was like straw out of a drink.
I mean, you see a lot of schizophrenic people
Mm.
when you're out and about, if you know what to look for.
Well, we definitely do.
But the thing is, if they're not having regular appointments or they're not attending
No.
regular appointments and they stop taking the medication, who's going to know?
Yeah, exactly.
Until it's too late, really. And it's not just, obviously, it's not just schizophrenic people.
It's,
There's people who are on drugs, being on drugs,
yep.
paranoia,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all those sort of things.
Yep.
But never say it can't happen to you or it doesn't happen around
Never
you.
have that, please.
Because it can happen to anyone.
Please, I'm telling you now from my own experience, never have that approach in life saying it will never happen to me because nobody knows.
I mean,
Nobody.
you don't know who's watching you anyway. Do
Exactly. You don't.
you could speak to a mate every day,
Yep.
going to work, and they could be stalking you. I mean, a lot of famous people, haven't they, been
Yep.
stalked?
Oh, they have.
And I mean, the money they've got and their own cars they drive,
Yep.
and
They're inviting it as well. That's the thing.
they're inviting it from doing a job.
Yeah, exactly.
But normal people wouldn't do that to them,
No,
would they?
no, it's got to be.
So that just shows there's a problem somewhere
Yeah, there is a big problem.
for them to do that. I mean, these young girls that get stalked, and it makes them that ill. They have breakdowns.
Yeah, some of them end up taking their own lives as a result
And
of
men,
it.
and men.
as
It can
well.
happen
worse.
to men as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was also stalked on social media platforms. On was it two? It was on two of them. It was on two of them. I got stalked. That was just unbelievable. When that happened, I was mortified. I thought, whoa, this is not good. I'm being racially abused on social media. I have done in my early years of using it. And there was people of the same colour as me, but had lived in a different colour, who were olive skin like me.
But for instance, you know, we was on the train, and there was people from London on the same train.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
This isn't stalking, this is prejudice, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say it's still going on.
Yeah.
And they were on about Birmingham and how could anybody live there, and the bin bags. There was no need for the remark they made.
No, we could
There was
hear it.
Asian people on the train.
Yep.
There was black people on the train, and obviously white people, Chinese,
Yeah.
multicultural train. And they mentioned the bin bags, the Birmingham Council. And the only thing they could think, because of their mental health, their own mental health,
Yeah.
they didn't show they got mental health problems, but they certainly have there,
Yeah, you could tell.
where colour's concerned.
Yep.
And they were on about basically the Asians.
Yeah, the Asian
It's an
community.
Asian city. And I'd hate to be living there with all the bags. It's bad enough without the bags. The smell of curry.
Yeah, that's what they said, didn't they?
That's a prejudiced remark.
Of course. Couldn't believe it when we was hearing that. I said, how dare they? You know, we were both going to say something before. No, we can't.
But you know, stalking over colour and things like that, or any reason, there's no excuse for
There's
it. Is
no
there
excuse
at all?
for it at all.
None.
No.
But as I say, you don't know who's watching you.
Yeah.
You know, watching your movements
Yeah.
and, you know, to break in or to do something to you or whatever.
That's why you never give them the chance of your
No.
location of where you live.
I mean, you're on the bus, we are,
Yeah.
aren't we?
Yeah.
And we hear people talking on the phones.
Yeah, we do.
All ages,
Yeah.
elderly, young people.
All colours and creeds.
Yep. And, you know, where they're going on holiday. And I've mentioned this before.
Yep.
Especially elderly people.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The
me.
most vulnerable people out there are elderly.
There was an
isn't it?
elderly lady once, and the only thing that she didn't give them was a key,
Yeah.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
She might as well have handed a key over
Yep.
to any criminal on that bus.
Mm.
and said, "Oh, we are. Here's my key. You can go and break in when I go. All right." Because they got that much information.
I know.
And the same with like the young ones. They've got the phones in their hand. They've got the purses in their hand. You know, it's just people watch you, don't they? And it's not nice. It's not nice.
And you know what, I'm glad I've worked in the security profession, and it's made me like, Max will tell you, like what I'm like when I'm out. I'm constantly observant of who's around. I can't help it.
Got your protection head on all the way.
Yeah, I have to. And what reinforces it even more is because I've had that attempt on my life. And I've actually had attempt on my life more than one occasion, but that was the worst of the worst. That was. Yeah, I've had people threaten to stab me with needles, which they have, they pulled them out.
But you know, no one should be treated like that just because of the colour of the skin.
Exactly.
You know, it makes me ever so angry. It really does.
It does. I mean, I've arrested shoplifters, people of my colour, and you know what, I always get dashed at by them. Oh, you're being racist. I said, and I'd say, well, you go, time out there. How dare you use a race card on me? I'm here doing a job. You always used to say to them, you could be green with red stripes going through you. If I see you stealing and you offer no payment of your goods, you're going to get stopped the same. Don't care what colour you are or what part of the world you come from. I've even arrested people who are rich. And that's no joke. I really have arrested people who have got a lot of money, and I always say to them, what are you stealing for? You got the money to pay for it. What's the point? Either go for the buzz or make up some other kind of ridiculous excuse. I said, hang on, there's no excuse. You get treated the same as someone who's desperate to steal to make a living out of it. Don't care who you are. So yeah, I always used to get that card, the race card hit with me. Oh, you're racist. How dare they insult my intelligence?
But the stalking.
This is what this video is. This is a major thing.
You know, it's all around you, really.
Yeah, it's around you 24/7, even when you're sleeping.
And I think it's a sad thing that they can't get the help they need, really, straight away.
I know.
Before it gets out of hand.
And it very nearly did with me.
And stalking, as Andrew said, like it happened to me through hatred. His was over because of his colour, his family's colour. But other people, it might be because somebody says something at school to them that they didn't like.
Or they want to be with them.
Yeah, and they've held that vendetta all them years. And they want to have their own back.
Yeah, get their own back, Or jealousy, which is one of the worst ones, jealousy. So if someone's been, that girl or that guy you wanted to be with, and they was obsessed with that person, and they want to take out their partner so they could be with them. Or if I can't have you, then nobody else can.
They actually believe in their head, don't they, that they're going out with you?
Yeah, they really do, and I've experienced that. I'm being honest.
He's had a terrible time with it, didn't he?
I really have. I was really shocked because I've been brought up right, and I've mentioned on some videos from my mum and dad how they brought us up. We expected everybody else out there in the world to be like my mum and dad, how they treated us. How wrong was I? How very, very wrong was I? But then I met Maxine, and that changed every goddamn thing for the better.
And they just didn't like it, did they?
No, they didn't.
That's all.
Especially when we got together. But they thought, well, even before we started seeing each other, with our friendship.
It started.
With our friendship. With our friendship.
Yeah, it started.
That's just completely nuts.
Crazy. Box of frogs.
Yeah, especially with some people overseas. They were saying up all these made up stories, saying, oh, he's always talking to me, or he's going to meet up with me when I come over to the UK, or he's going to be coming over to wherever.
I listened one night for 30 minutes on the phone, and then I thought, I can't take no more of this. I was in hysterics in myself. And I said, well, why are you telling me?
We are, come on, we're grandparent age people here.
We were friends.
We're grandparent age people, and you get these younger people coming off with all this rubbish. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's not very nice when it's happening to you.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, we've spoken to other people about this, and they say, "Well, that's a compliment." This is actually no, it's darker than that. It's ain't no compliment at all.
See, because Andrew is such a nice person.
I can't help being the way I am.
And you shouldn't have to.
Exactly.
You
I ain't
shouldn't have to
changing my
change
way.
no one.
I'm not changing my way to be nice. You know, I'm going to keep being who I am, but be aware.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
aware.
I mean, a heart to them. He was in a relationship with them. In their head. You know, in their heads he was.
So, yeah, I've even had to stop doing things like that.
So you have to stop doing that.
The only time I share hearts with is my beloved and my family, my
Yeah.
siblings. My
But you
nieces
shouldn't
and my
have to do
nephews.
that, should you?
No.
You
Just
know,
because of them.
Just because people think that you want to be with them because you give them a heart on the thing.
And the thing is as well, this is why I don't do social media anymore. I really don't. And people say, "Oh, Anne, you should go." No, my mind is made up. And when I stick by things, Maxine knows what I'm like. When I stick by things, I stick to it, true to the colour, and I really do. No one would help me deviate from my path. Once I'm on that path, not even the universe will move me. And that's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
So yes, that's one of the main reasons why I came off it, because I didn't want to give them the chance for me. Being back on, always back on this trade again, blah, blah, blah. Forget that, man. I'm happy doing this. Our channel, you know. Happy. But yeah, stalking, man, jeez. I'll tell you now, right, if any of you have had an experience through it, please let us know in the comments below. We would really appreciate that, to hear some of your stories, or read some of your stories. Because I put it in, the stalking one was in my first book, when I got attacked in 2011. That's in the book Out of the Darkness. So yeah, that's in there. I haven't put anything else in Out of the Shadows ever, really, with social media stalking. No, I haven't.
Not the social media one.
But I might do something about that, but put it in a different way text. You know, it's because you never think stalking happens to men. It does. It happens to men. You think mainly it's to women. Us men get stalked as well. That's no joke. We really do. Especially when it comes to narcissism.
He even said, didn't you, on one of your...
I made a video about it.
Yeah. And he even said, "Look, I'm here for what I do.
Yeah.
If you're not interested in my martial arts,
you can forget about the
this
rest.
isn't a dating site."
It's not a dating site.
I'm not interested. And yet I still was...
Yeah, they were still persistent.
It was
so,
It was as though they read it the opposite way.
Yeah. I put it on one of my other channels, and I did a video and said, "I am not interested. I am staying on my own." And I did for over 6 years. I stuck to it. And even my own family members were quite shocked in that I was staying on my own and decided to. And then my beauty, but everyone changed every goddamn thing. Showed me the truth that there are good people out there, which I didn't think there was at one point. I always thought that certain people are out there to take you for what they can get from you. How wrong was I when I met my beloved here? Very wrong. Rare. Very rare. Very, very rare.
So are you.
So yes, people, stalking. Never think it can happen to you. Trust me, it can.
And you know, if you are being stalked and you're frightened to tell anyone, write dates, times, and take evidence of what's been put.
Yeah, if you can get a photograph or a
Don't
video.
delete your things.
No.
Never delete
Nope.
the messages.
Nope.
Because then you can build a thing up to take to the police. And say this person. And even social media.
Yep.
They,
Screenshot it and God knows what, you know.
They get involved then and they get there. Some of the laws are different in America.
You know
But
that.
they do try and look into it.
They do, yeah.
But Andrew says to me, like, you know, I'm going off social media.
Yeah.
And I want you to go off it as well because it's
Poisonous.
poison. And it is.
And it is. Some of you may disagree, but trust me, all those platforms out there, every one of them is poison. You may think, "Oh, I'm getting millions of views," but yeah, it always takes one or two to change their mind about you and how they think. Trust me. So always remember that for those other influencers out there. Please.
I mean, don't forget you've got good people on there as well.
Yeah, there's good people.
Genuine people.
Yeah, and I did have some genuine ones, but...
And I've said to Andrew, I feel sorry for them ones who look up to you really, and like it made their day, genuinely. Not the girls who was all after him and
the
stuff.
genuine people.
The genuine people. Yeah.
This is why I've got a second channel now, a second YouTube channel, where there's a lot of control in it and they can't do it. So if someone was to message me, it's going to be seen by everybody. They can't do it through Messenger or private inbox. So you see, there's a big difference with that. So yes, stalking thing, man, I'm telling you, it's not to be messed around with. It's very dangerous and deadly, and it really is.
But as we say, just keep all your evidence.
Yeah, keep all your evidence of the stalking. As soon as when you know there's a red flag going, oh, don't be gullible to it too, because that's where the narcissism approach comes in. Because all stalkers, you know that they're all narcissists. All of them are. I never heard about it until the few recent years. So all stalkers are narcissists, and they really are, because they're obsessed with you.
And I mean, if you've got a genuine concern as well about a neighbour or anyone who's got mental health issues, and you don't see them actually having support, you know, just ring your local council up and ask them what you can do to, you know, could they send somebody out for a welfare check, really? Because you don't know what's going on in their heads.
No.
You know, behind closed doors, do you? And it's not nice seeing other people suffer either.
No, it isn't.
Especially if they stop taking medication and stuff.
Because when that thing happened to me in 2011, a lot of people were shocked, because they were coming and saying, it was just one of them random things. And I used to tell them, I was telling them, have you guys read the press? I said, no, we didn't know it happened. This was not no random thing. This was premeditated. He planned this for years and years. That's no joke. So when you hear about these things, these attacks happening, look at them in a different way, because the majority of them are premeditated. They're not just random. They're quite rare when they're random. They're quite rare. But mine was a premeditated planning for years. Wow. Wow.
You've got to have your wits about you, you know.
You have to be switched on.
I mean, with suicide bombers and goodness knows what, and radicalisations and things, you've got to be so careful.
In the news today, with this guy who did the Manchester bombings, one of the brothers apparently, while he was in prison, he attacked 3 of the officers in there, and you know, these officers, bless them, they have been badly injured. Could be life-threatening, life-changing injuries.
You know, it's diabolical, isn't it, when you think about it? It really is. Makes you angry.
Very, very angry.
Really does.
I mean, we watch a lot of true crime stuff, and we do. The reason why we watch a lot of it, because it keeps you clued up to what's going on in that world. Because at one time in the past, they'd sweep that stuff under the carpet. They wouldn't want to let you be exposed to it. But you have to be exposed to things like this to survive out there in that world, because one can never tell what's going to happen tomorrow when you're out and about. If you're going out there with a non-clued up approach to life, boy, what I'm saying is, I'm not wishing anything bad on anyone, because I don't do that. What I'm saying to you, good people out there in that world, be aware of what's going on around you.
And make your kids streetwise.
Yes, make them streetwise.
You know, because
make them streetwise.
The world we live in, they need to know things.
Of course they do. You can't mollycotton kids, man. Not in this day and age. I'm sorry for that.
Sometimes you have to sugar sweet stuff with children.
Yes.
You know, just so they're like aware, but in an innocent way. But they're still aware.
You know, if you're certain people who come from a background where you're not aware of the streets, get your kids trained up in things in self-defence.
Yeah.
It saved my life.
Yeah.
And
advise that to anyone.
And I'm a living testimony. I'm celebrating 50 years this year as a martial arts practitioner. I don't see myself as an expert or a master. I've just got a lot of years' experience. That's how I say. I don't give myself a label, and I never will. But other people see me as a master.
But all the kids need to learn is the street defence.
Be street wise for the streets. And that's why I learned the martial arts, to give me that extra advantage, not for competition. I've never competed. The true competition is life. So best to have some skills, both mentally and physically.
When you think about it, you could learn with them if you don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It works out really in your favour.
Yeah, it does.
It's something for you to do as a family. It's something to keep you fit.
Yep.
And it'll protect you one day.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
And it came to 1988 was another incident. That was a planned one as well. But there was, and I managed, this is the truth, I dealt with 4 guys and 2 of them had weapons. And I was 22 at the time, and again, my martial arts and the way I'm built saved my life and my brother's life too. So I say, please learn some form of self-defence. It's not too late, it's never too late, but don't make it too late. That's all we say, you know. But yeah. So ending it there on that one, my dear. Or if there's some more to say.
No, I've got nothing else to say.
Yeah. So that's a wrap on that one. And thank you again to the new subscribers on our channel. And if you're new to the channel, you're just watching the videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and keep those likes going and sharing the love, because this is what the world needs more of. Comments as well, yeah, we'd love to see your comments in the box. And again, Joanne, is it? Bless you, Joanne, he put in the comments. Bless you, Joanne, for making comments.
Yeah, and thanks for your support,
yes, Joanne, honestly, we both
we love to read your
we
opinion.
we do, most certainly do. Thank you for your support. But yeah, share the videos, share the channels, tell people about us. Because I'll always say this, we are who we say we are. There's no gimmicks, there's no CGIs or special effects things with us. We are straight down the middle of life.
We are who we are.
Exactly. Me no ramp about, you know. Neither does my beloved here. Should I ramp too, you know?
We no ramp, no.
No, sir, we don't ramp. But seriously, stalking, that is a very serious and deadly thing.
And it's a serious crime.
Very serious crime. Imprisonable. You can be imprisoned for it as well. You can, definitely. But seriously, take note of this video, what we've done for you today. We hope it can help you as well. But yeah, seriously.
Remind you to be aware, really.
Just to be aware.
And the options that are out there for you.
Yeah, definitely. And there's some very good options which are out there. There is. Most definitely. And thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Namaste. 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 And we'll always keep saying it, as you all know by now. Please stay safe out there, everybody. Please stay safe. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. And let's keep this chi of life. Let's keep it always and forever flowing. Let's keep it moving. Let's feel that energy. Because this is what life is. The life force of you, chi. Let's just feel that energy. Let's feel it moving in every cell of your being. Let's feel that energy. Bless you, darling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.